The best oil for cast iron seasoning is not what you've been told. Most likely, you've been told that there is a specific type of oil that is the very best for cast iron seasoning. Well, folks, I'm going to tell you that if you want a skillet to look like this, then stick around. We're going to show you what some of the best oils are for cast iron seasoning. Now, number one is lard. Lard is an animal fat that is rendered usually from pork, and it is very good for seasoning. Now, old timers years ago, that's all they ever used. Now, one of my favorites, many of you know, is bacon grease. Now, bacon grease is just the fat that's left over when you fry bacon. And the difference between lard and bacon grease is lard is not flavored. Bacon grease is usually smoked, cured or something like that. And so that's the difference. This is actually a smoked lard and this is unsmoked. So they're very good for cast iron seasoning. Now, the reason why some people don't recommend lard or bacon grease is because being an animal fat like that, if you don't use your cast iron skillet very often, then it could possibly become rancid or have a smell to it. And that's really easy to cure. That's not one reason that I would never use bacon grease. Matter of fact, I use bacon grease all the time. And so that's a great oil. Now, another one that you may or may not have heard of is coconut oil for seasoning cast iron. And coconut oil is a good oil also, but the problem with coconut oil is the flavor. You will have that particular distinct flavor in your skillet. So if you don't mind that, that's okay. I mean, coconut oil, it's a lower smoke point. I mean, it's only like 350 degrees for the smoke point. Now on bacon grease and lard, they're right at about 374, 375 degrees. And what a smoke point is how high you can heat the skillet up before it starts to smoke, before that oil starts to smoke and break down. That's what a smoke point is. Now, another great one is Crisco, and I highly recommend Crisco vegetable shortening. Now, this is a vegetable oil versus being an animal fat. And of course, coconut oil is another type of fruit or vegetable, I guess if you will. It's a fruit oil, comes from the coconut. But Crisco is very good. Many people recommend using Crisco or a vegetable shortening to season your cast iron. It works real well. And vegetable shortening runs about 360 to 380 degrees on its smoke point. Now, another oil that you may have heard of or may have heard people say to use or not to use is extra virgin olive oil. Now, it's great for cooking in, no doubt about it. I love to cook with olive oil. It's great stuff. It's great for salad dressings and different things like that. But folks, it's not very good to season cast iron with. It's great to cook your vegetables and everything else in, but not to season your cast iron. So I don't recommend using extra virgin olive oil to try to season your cast iron skillet. Now, another reason why is because of the flavor, the smell, and that distinct flavor will remain in your cast iron skillet. Now, another oil that even Lodge cast iron, which that's what this 12-inch skillet is, Lodge recommends vegetable oil, and that's what they pre-season all of their cast iron skillets with at the factory. Every Lodge skillet comes pre-seasoned. In other words, it has a coat or maybe two coats of vegetable oil that has been sprayed on these pans to hinder and resist the rust from creating on a cast iron skillet until it gets to the store or until a consumer purchases it and then brings it home and seasons it. So vegetable oil, this is just a cheapo vegetable oil, and it's very good for seasoning cast iron. The smoke point on vegetable oil is around 400 degrees, so it's great for seasoning your cast iron skillet. Now, another one that you may or may not heard of to season cast iron with is grapeseed oil. Now, grapeseed oil is also about 400 to 420 degrees for its smoke point, so it has a higher smoke point. It's great for seasoning cast iron, and it comes from the seed of wine grapes. That's where that comes from. So you certainly can use grapeseed oil if you so choose. Now, another oil, I don't have the actual bottle of oil, but what I do have is a spray can that contains canola oil. Now, this says, Pam says it's the original canola oil blend. So canola oil is another oil that is very good for seasoning cast iron, and its smoke point is around 425 degrees. So I don't really recommend taking just a can of oil like Pam and spraying your cast iron and trying to season it that way, although I guess you could, as long as you wipe it down real good, you know, and put it in your oven and bake it off. You could do that so it doesn't drip. But if you just had a bottle of regular canola oil, like you can buy bottles like this, that's just canola oil, you could take and wipe your skillet down, put it in the oven, and you could bake it off like we normally do for seasoning cast iron, and that would be just fine. So now, one other thing too that is a fat, and that is butter, full fat. Now, I don't recommend trying to season your cast iron skillet with butter. I do recommend seasoning your food with butter. You can certainly cook a steak in your cast iron skillet with butter. You can certainly cook a steak in your cast iron skillet with olive oil and butter and garlic, and you'd have a great steak. But I don't recommend butter as an oil or a fat to season your cast iron skillet. Now, last but not least is avocado oil. Now, you may not have heard of using avocado oil for seasoning your cast iron, and the reason why, it has a bit of a flavor too. And so, you know, it's not that strong, but yet it still has a little bit of flavor. But avocado oil is very high on smoke point. It's like 520 degrees before it starts to smoke. So if you really wanted to sear a steak in a cast iron skillet, you could definitely use avocado oil. And so, but my last oil is the one that I wanted to tell you about. And it's not the best oil for cast iron seasoning. It's certainly not what you've been told is the best, that's for sure. And that oil is this one right here. Now this oil is what everyone tells. I don't even know where this story got started or how it happened, but flaxseed oil it's way too expensive, first of all. It has a very low smoke point of only like 225 degrees. So if you heated your skillet up too hot, you could easily, and matter of fact, some people jokingly call it flake seed oil, because if you get it too hot, your skillet will begin to flake. The finish, the seasoning, if you will begin to chip. So if you've seen a skillet that is chipped, that has been had flaxseed oil used in it, that's the reason why. It looks good. If you wanted a piece to look like picture perfect finish, if you were trying to sell a piece, take it to a market or something like that, and you wanted to real quickly add a coat of seasoning on it to make your skillet look as the best as possible, then flaxseed oil would work just fine. But now it's not durable. The thing about it is, I mean, it will flake, it will chip. And so I know I'm going to get a lot of comments for that. Leave me a comment down there if you've used flaxseed oil, or if you recommend flaxseed oil. I do not. Matter of fact, it's not the best oil for cast iron seasoning by far. We went through several here, 7 or 8 other types of oil that is so much better to season your cast iron skillet. And I've been cooking in them for years, and I tell you what, if you want a skillet to look like this, then you need to leave that flaxseed alone. Try some of these others that I have recommended here, and I guarantee you, you'll be satisfied with your cast iron seasoning. Well, we just want to share that with you. Hey, YouTube has placed a video right here specifically for you. Click on that and we'll see you guys over there. Y'all have a great day. It's Mike with Mr. Cast Iron. We'll see you. Bye-bye.